Warning! The root's on fire! You're about to experience the most high-octane, pedal-to-the-metal controversial show of your life. Please buckle up and hold on tightly. This station is not responsible for injuries. This is Wayne Allyn Root, raw and unfiltered, with America's favorite conservative rock star. Direct from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. What time is it? It's time for war! Here's your host, 100% raw truth, 100% American made, the warrior, Wayne Allyn Root.
All right, Wayne Allyn Root, the root is on fire. I hope you tuned in last night to our very first show. Called America Speaks on Real America's Voice TV Network, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, every night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then on Fridays, in that exact same time slot, we'll run my show, America's Top 10 Countdown. It'll be the first preview of America's Top 10 Countdown on Fridays. Instead of just watching it on Saturday at noon, you get it on Friday night at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. So that time zone is mine, right? 10 o'clock East Coast time, 7 o'clock Pacific on Real America's Voice is my real estate now. And I decided to put Friday's show as top 10. And then Saturday, top 10. And then Sunday night, top 10 at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So we take over the whole RAV universe, Monday through Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, too. So 7 days a week, Wayne Root on Real America's Voice TV. I hope you're getting my new book, How Illegal Immigrants Have Made America Great, 100 Blank Pages. It's available at Amazon and only Amazon, Amazon.com. They sell 95% of all books in America, so you can buy it at Amazon and turn it into a #1 bestseller. It's funny. It's a gag gift. It says right on the cover, warning, do not show this book to Democrats. Their heads will explode. 100 blank pages, all the great things illegal immigrants have done to make America great. Anything else to tell you about? No, that's about it. Let me tell you about what's going on in the world. Damn right, L.A. Mayor Karen Bass vows to lead resistance against immigration agents during the World Cup. So I was going to write a commentary today, but I never found the time. I've had a really busy day and a lot of things going on. As a matter of fact, to mention what's going on my new show, America Speaks, 20,000 people try and get through, and like 10 of them get through each night to speak to me. So that's not really fair. So call, please, 1-800-347-ROOT, and try and get on. But if you can't get on, you get a busy signal, just send me an email, and I'll read it on the air. So now in the first segment of the show, I'm going over the biggest news stories of the day. In the second segment of the show, I'm going to read the viewer emails on the air and answer their questions live on the air. So you'll get your name on the air without ever getting through. It's just another alternate way to hear America's voice. And then the third and fourth segment of the show will be nothing but calls. So that's the way we're doing it now. So email me, wayneroot@gmail.com, with any questions or comments on my show tonight. Email me. I've got about 100 from last night. But if you send me something good today, I'll shuffle the deck and put it at the front of the deck. And obviously, there's not time for all of them either, but a lot of them we'll get on the show because I'll read them fast, give you a quick answer, and move on to the next. So I never had a chance today to write the commentary I was going to write. What I wanted to write was that President Trump, it's really to President Trump, and the commentary is going to be President Trump arrests Karen Bass right now. And today's the election, by the way. You're not going to find out who the mayor is because it's going to be a two-person runoff. No one's going to get 50%. So it's going to be Karen Bass against Spencer Pratt. We all know that. Pratt will probably come in first today. But there's that third candidate who's a socialist. Add her 24% of the vote to Karen Pratt's 30%, and you got 54, and that's what will happen in the general election. Pratt's not going to win. I'm all for him. I'm on his side. I'm on his team. But it's impossible to win in L.A. And there's two commentaries I want to write this week. The first one is President Trump arrest Karen Bass because she's saying, I want to lead the resistance against DEA agents. That's criminals. Since when are you allowed as a politician? Let's just say that I, Wayne Root, hate black people. And so I refuse to accept discrimination laws. I refuse to accept black children in school. Okay, I'm a KKK member, which is what Democrats would like to call all of us, and we know it's all lies, because I've never been that one day in my life. But let's say I was. Would you not arrest me if I refuse to follow American federal law? So these are people, these Democrat mayors, these resistance insurrection mayors are breaking the law and violating the United States Constitution, breaking the federal law and violating the U.S. Constitution. When they say they're leading the resistance against ICE, arrest them, put them on Con Air, right, with handcuffs in front and leg irons, put them on Con Air and fly them to Gitmo for a treason trial. This is treason against the United States of America. Karen Bass, whether she wins tomorrow or comes in second, arrest her right on the day she thinks she won or she made the runoff. Arrest her in front of the United States, in front of the world, and show the resistance judges and the resistance politicians that if you try and break American law, if Wayne Root breaks American law, don't I go to jail? Wouldn't I go to jail for treason if I tried to aid and abet criminals? So Patar, my director, is saying 100%. And Patar is a legal immigrant from Serbia. And he said 100%. Anything I do, I go to jail in a second. So I don't know if it's treason or not. I think it's treason. But send him to jail for aiding and abetting criminals. Send her to jail for something. Because you got to send the message. And I said this when Trump was running for president. You got to arrest the insurrectionist judges and the insurrectionist politicians who are leading this terrible resistance, insurrection, coup, traitorous overthrow of the United States government. If they don't want to listen to Trump, that's their problem. If they break the law, it's our problem. Arrest them. And the second one I want to write is, you can't beat them. You can't beat Karen Bass. I'm sorry, Spencer Pratt. You're not going to beat Karen Bass in the general election. I'm sorry, Steve Hilton. You're not going to beat the Democrat in the general election because they can't let you win. Because in a blue state like California, the corruption is so deep, so overwhelming, so many, I think at this point, trillions have been stolen, not billions. It has to add up over 10 years to trillions of dollars of American taxpayer money on that train to nowhere and on all of the daycare centers and all of those places they're sending people that are owned by Somalis and illegals. They're all ripping you off. The money that was stolen during COVID was like literally billions of dollars. Like $500 billion was stolen, I think. They cannot let a Republican win mayor of LA or governor of California because then that person will conduct an investigation and find out who committed all the crimes. So all the people who committed the crimes will go to jail for a long time. So they can't let this happen. They cannot let any Republican see what they've been doing. So those are the two columns I want to write, and they're both on the money, I'm telling you. They can never let them win. They can't let them peek into the secrets of the Democrat Party, which is 100% built on theft and stolen seats, on fake ID, on no ID, on illegal aliens being able to vote, on homeless people voting multiple times from one address at one mission in downtown Los Angeles for the homeless. They vote in Arizona. They vote in California. They vote in Nevada. They get them to vote multiple times. It's all stolen. It's you're living on stolen land, and they can't let anyone see what's really going on. So I'll be writing those sometime this week. And then appeals court sides with a crazed Biden judge and rules the Pentagon illegally banned transgender troops. A 2-1 ruling. So two liberal losers voted 2-1. Wow, that changes the entire American system of the United States, right? I mean, changes the whole military. You could change the law. You could change taxes. You could change the economy. 2-1 decisions in federal courts. And two of them are liberal judges appointed by Obama. Okay. Or Biden. Or even Clinton at this point. There's a few Clinton ones left. And you can't, they say you can't ban transgenders. Men who think they're women wearing high heels and lipstick with a tight dress can be allowed into the army. I mean, it's just ridiculous. They're misfits. They're losers. And they cannot be allowed. You'll destroy the morale of the whole army. These people are all crazy, these judges. And this, to me, is the story of the day because it sums up. And there's a lot of stories today. I just started with a few of them, but this one sums up everything going on in America today. Find me someone who's anti-ICE, and I'll find you the lowest, vilest form of human scum. Anti-ICE activist accused of leaving agent with horrific bite wounds is previously accused of distributing child porn. Isn't that interesting? Gruesome photos of the agent's injuries, gashes, and teeth marks on his skin. He was kicking and biting ICE agents during protests, leaving the agent with horrific bite wounds. And he's an anti-ICE rioter identified as Brendan John Gearer. And let's see, I just want to find out what he did in the past. So he was previously charged with sexual abuse of children related to possession of child pornography in Pennsylvania. On September 21, 2018, the Berks County detectives received a complaint from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children involving the possession and uploading of child pornography through Skype. And it was this guy. The IP address and device was associated with Brendan Geyer. And they had a search warrant, and as a result of the search warrant, they seized a laptop computer. Forensic exam conducted yielded numerous digital images of child pornography. We have to say suspected child pornography. So this guy that hates ICE and that bit an ICE officer and gave him gruesome wounds likes to watch little children get raped. Allegedly. This is what you're dealing with. And unfortunately, I see a high school valedictorian in North Carolina had to be literally ripped off the stage because she tried to rant against ICE and Israel. Tied together. The ones who hate the Jews, hate ICE, and love illegal immigrants, illegal aliens. They're all tied together, the Jew haters. We'll be right back. RNC Chair Joe Gruters announces 130 lawsuits filed across 32 states to stop Democrats from stealing elections. He's the chairman of the Republican National Committee. He announced that Republicans have already launched 130 lawsuits across 32 states at blocking Democrats' efforts to cheat every single day in U.S. elections. That's his quote. The announcement comes as President Trump recently vowed to unleash a much larger election integrity army than the one Republicans used in 2024, signaling that the GOP is preparing for an all-out legal and ground game fight over ballot security, vote counting, and election procedures. Because, of course, you know the famous saying from Stalin, right? It's not who wins the election, it's who counts the votes that matters, right? And that's the Democrats' philosophy. They're just thieves. President Trump wants to make America the energy capital of the world, make America energy independent again. Here is a project that could help accomplish that, or certainly go a long way to helping accomplish it. I'm so proud to introduce you to a real America hero of the energy industry, Mark Bruner, founder and CEO of Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. Mark is a second-generation oil and gas legend whose companies have created more than $15 billion in shareholder value, including Ultra Petroleum. But Lost Soldier could be bigger than Ultra Petroleum, with what could be the largest gas discovery in the United States in 100 years. It's 40,000 acres. It took them 40 years to piece it together in Wyoming. Mark, welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Good to see you again, Wayne.
Tell us more about Lost Soldier. What have you got?
Well, I think we've got a really big gas field. I mean, in order to understand why it's just being done now, you got to understand the history. There was a uranium mine out here, and whenever there was a meltdown by 3 Mile Island, they started reclamating this mine and shut it down. 3 years ago, I got a call that basically asked me if I would drill it because they finally got the release and the reclamation was over and they had permits to drill it. So we drilled it, and it's the biggest discovery that I've ever made, okay? It's basically deep overpressured gas. Starting at around 13,000 feet, it's like a layer cake. It's just zone after zone of overpressure is what it is. So we're very excited about it. The other great thing is that it's surrounded by infrastructure, legacy fields that are essentially run out, and billions of dollars of infrastructure is there for us to utilize, and we don't have to build it. We're building a 5 mile line to hook into that infrastructure, and we believe we can produce up to 400 million a day within 36 months to fill that line, and then we're going to build a bigger line. That's the plan, and yeah, we couldn't be more excited.
Very exciting.
What we have.
Hey, Mark, listen, I want to make sure people that contact you, if they're accredited investors and they want to hear more about the project, they want to get involved, they go to lostsoldier.com. Lostsoldier.com. Mark's got a whole team. Every one of them has 40 plus years of experience in the energy and oil business, and they will contact you, call you back, or email you back, and why is freedom unique to America? I think I already covered that. Same air, same land, same sea as Mexico and Canada, but we got the lowest taxes. We've got the lowest regulations. We allow people to actually make money and achieve here and do well, and that's what creates mobility and opportunity, and we're the least woke. All right, Wayne, I also wanted to mention, on the topic of transgenders in the military, can you, first of all, under Obama and under Biden, the military couldn't meet its recruiting numbers because nobody wanted their sons to go fight in an army with a bunch of transgenders. And under Trump, we're beating our recruiting numbers every single week, every single month, every single day. And that's because it's cool to be in the military again, because Trump isn't going to let you die in the name of wokeism or communism, or in the name of a lawyer who won't let you shoot your gun. And it won't make you stay in a foxhole with a transgender. Can you imagine, just thinking about this in the break, can you imagine being in a foxhole with a guy who thinks he's a gal, or a gal who thinks he's a guy, or it thinks it's an it? I don't know what the hell they think. I don't know what they are. But I certainly don't trust them because it's a mental illness. See, I've never said gay is a mental illness. You want to be gay, be gay. You want to be lesbian, be lesbian. I don't think it's a mental illness. It's just something you're born with. But it sure is a mental illness to be transgender, to think you're in the wrong body and God made you in the wrong body. And a man becoming a woman and a woman becoming a man is mental illness. You can't allow them to be cops. You can't allow them to be in the military. I wouldn't want them guarding me. I wouldn't want to depend on a transgender in my foxhole. I would worry about a transgender in my foxhole. You think they're brave in battle, or you think they join the military because they want a free sex change operation? I know why they joined the military, to get a free sex change operation and cost the taxpayers $150,000. So that's the first thing I was thinking about in the break. The second thing is, Trump had a phone call that was supposedly a very rough phone call with Benjamin Netanyahu of Israel. And he was telling Netanyahu, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Everybody hates Israel now. You're going to wind up in prison. You can't do this stuff. You're lucky I'm around. That's supposedly what Trump said to Netanyahu. I don't know if that's true or not. A lot of times this stuff is made up. Other times it's a real phone call leaked. But let's say it's a real phone call leaked. I just got to ask a question. I never heard in 4 years a single phone call of Joe Biden with a world leader leaked. I never heard a single phone call in 8 years of Obama. A phone call leaked from a world leader with Obama. But under Trump, every phone call gets leaked. How is that not a violation of national security that should result in 20 years in a hard labor prison, right? Or Gitmo for treason. Do you know what kind of damage you can do to the United States and the United States military and the people fighting abroad by leaking phone calls like that? How are these phone calls being leaked when they're never leaked under a Democrat? If Trump wants to scream at Netanyahu, if FDR wanted to scream at Churchill, you didn't know about it, and you were better off not knowing about it. That's none of your business. Churchill and FDR scream at each other, and he calls him a name, and he calls him a name, and they choke each other out. And then when they come out of the meeting, they're best friends, and they go, America and Britain will fight the Nazis. We're friends. What goes on behind the door? That's none of your damn business. That's called national security. That's called the fight among friends to defend the world from Hitler. Of course there's going to be disagreement. You have no right to hear the disagreement. So the person leaking it should go to jail for a lot of years. And nobody ever seems to go to jail. And it keeps happening again and again because nobody's ever punished. Amazing. Speaking of nobody ever being punished, the things they allow to happen to a Republican president, but not to a Democrat, an Obama judge shrugs off a Secret Service warning and says signs threatening to assassinate Trump can stay near the White House. Signs that say 8647. You know, that was the same thing that got Comey in trouble, 8647, meaning kill President number 47. Less than 2 weeks after a man was killed after opening fire on Secret Service agents' steps of the White House, just over a month since a man was charged with trying to assassinate Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, an Obama-appointed judge has ordered that a 8647 protest be allowed to continue near the White House. U.S. District Judge Randolph Moss. I wonder how Randolph Moss would react if I said on national TV that everybody should hold signs that say, kill Randolph Moss. Now, don't go and say Wayne said that, because I'm not saying that. I would never say that. That's disgusting. I want to throw Randolph Moss in a Gitmo prison cell, but I don't want him to die. I don't want him or his family to be hurt. I don't want anyone to kill him or to burn his house down and kill his family. But what if the sign said, kill Judge Randolph Moss? Would he say that's okay? Would he think that's okay? Would his fellow judges think that's okay? But it's okay to say that about Trump. Incredible. Energized Health is sponsor of this segment. You all know my Energized Health story. 6 years ago, I joined the program. I lost 25 pounds of fat. I gained 10 pounds of muscle. My life's never been the same. That's me at the age of 50. And now show me in the gym at the age of 65. Incredible difference. Thank you, Energized Health. You are my fountain of youth. You reversed aged me. I look younger now and feel younger now than at age 50, and I'm going to be 65 in July. I'll be on Medicare in July. Go to EnergizedHealth.com, get on the same program as me. Say WAR when you speak to them, and you get 40% off to go on the same journey as me. EnergizedHealth.com, promo code WAR. Be right back. Why is the 250th anniversary of America important? Well, that's a no-brainer, right? We're the greatest nation in the history of civilization. No one else has ever come close. And what's great about America is we have the same air, we breathe the same air, and we swim in the same ocean water as Mexico and Canada. And I hate to say this, but both those countries are nothing. I mean, Mexico's a nothing and Canada's a nothing. And America's the greatest nation in the history of civilization. Why? We share the same land, the same water, the same air. There's something in the air, and I believe it's just that America, the people who come here are patriotic, the people who come here are optimistic, the people who come here believe in themselves and believe in this country and have a passion and a love for this country. And this country responds in kind by giving the most incredible mobility and opportunity in the world, and that's because of low taxes and very light regulation. Those are the two things in life that matter to me, taxes and regulation. All right, so I've been telling you about Zicha Genesis Medicine, and it's medicines to reverse type 2 diabetes, Parkinson's disease, and the number one cause of death in the world, small vessel heart disease. That form of heart disease is responsible for about 1/3 of the deaths in the world, and therefore 1/3 of everyone watching. Joining us now is the CEO of Zicha Genesis Medicine, Dan Montano. Dan, your company's making some great medical advancements. Update on what you're doing in regard to brain disorders like Parkinson's disease.
First, Wayne, thank you for your support of yours and your people. It's been fantastic. Neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's disease, we believe are vascular disruption in the brain. A stroke, dementia, Alzheimer's are all the same. But let me show you a Parkinson's patient because a video is worth 1,000 words. This is Matt Davis. You see the date, May 23. He's being asked to lift his right foot. You can see that he can't lift it because his Parkinson's is so bad. He is in a wheelchair. He cannot walk. That is May 2023. We then dosed him, and here he is, April of 25, walking by himself down the driveway. He is unassisted, walking for the first time in 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
But it gets better, Wayne, because after 6 more months of dosing, he's playing catch, ball back and forth. This is a person who is improving from Parkinson's, recovering, not declining like everybody else you've ever heard of. We have 250 people like him.
Dan, that is amazing. Tell my fans about Zicha's investment opportunity.
It's very simple. People invest in funding a clinical study like the one on Parkinson's. We pay them 10 times their investment over from a royalty of 50%. If they're not happy at 48 months, I pay them double their money. And this allows us to pull forward a lot of the research we've done, like chronic wounds, Parkinson's, etc.
It sounds too good to be true. How do you justify that?
Very simple. Take the type 2 diabetes. The investors put up $5 million for the study. We pay them $50 million. The marketplace applications are probably $100 billion for us over the next 7 years. Who wouldn't pay $50 million to get $100 billion?
Unbelievable. That's an amazing story. If you're interested in learning more about this investment opportunity, go to cure-war.com, cure-war.com. Wouldn't it be great to make money and help cure disease at the same time? That's cure-war.com. Thank you, Dan. God bless you.
Bless you. Bye-bye.
Updated 9 worst words. I've updated it to I'm Mayor Zohran Mandami and I'm here to help. And that is the 9 worst words in English language. I'm Mayor Zohran Mandami and I'm here to help. Thank you, God, for New York City Mayor Zohran Mandami. He is manna from heaven for Republicans. He's the greatest Republican salesman in history is what he is. Why do you think President Trump was so nice to Mandami when he visited the White House? It was like the cat being nice to the mouse or the wolf being nice to the sheep, or Democrats being nice to middle-class voters while they campaign. It was all an act by President Trump. Like me, he wanted Mandami to be Mandami, to be the radical communist he truly is, to show America how communism really works. And Trump was thrilled to give Mandami enough rope to hang himself. Metaphorically, of course, we're talking, not really. Nobody's talking about really hanging anybody, but politically hang himself, financially destroy the city of New York, and show us how communism works. All right, Wayne Allyn Root, the Root's on fire. Welcome back to our show, Warzone Live. I wanted to mention the sponsor of the show, VRA. After 15 years on Wall Street at the highest levels, in 2003, Kip Herriage founded VRA. Hard to believe 2003 was 23 years ago. Wow. Time is just flying. His global investment and economic newsletter since then, his top performing recommendations have beaten the market almost 90% of the time, 19 out of 22 years. Meanwhile, Barron's reports the average Wall Street money manager loses to the market 90% of the time. And he doesn't just beat the market, he beats it by a mile. very often. His top recommendations, called 10 baggers, which are, what fills my entire portfolio, were up 35.7% last year. And just to prove he's not a one-note Johnny, right? 38% up on average over the last 3 years. Not 38% over 3 years, 38% a year on average each of the last 3 years. An incredible track record, and I've been following him for 23 years. He's always incredible, whether the market's up or down, whether the economy's up or down. Kip is up. So join now at VRAinsider.com. You can also get his best-selling book, The Big Bribe, for free as well. Get your free 2-week membership at VRAinsider.com. That's VRAinsider.com. All right, Kip Herridge is with us. Speaking of the man, economic expert, CEO of VRA, the aforementioned company, VRAinsider.com. Kip, the markets are up, but today was a bad day, right? Things were not good today. Again, I think it's all pretty obvious. Let's see if you agree with me. People are scared about the Iran war. They have no idea where it's headed. One day we're up about it. Next day we're down. Next hour we're up. Next hour we're down. The House just voted to leave the Iran war, which leaves Trump in a very bad position. So it's causing a lot of problems.
That's exactly right. And by the way, Wayne, congratulations on your new show. Great start this week. Happy for you, man. It's a perfect format for you. Live talk. So it's fantastic. Yeah, you're exactly right. Look, for the last, I guess, since the March 30th lows, we called those lows on the night of when it looked like to us the war was ending. But since then, anytime there's good news, right, on the war, the markets go up. If there's bad news, it goes down. It's tied to two key things. It's oil prices and it's interest rates. Look, the primary trend, we believe, in the market will continue to be higher. But if if oil prices get above 100, that's a problem for both the economy and the markets. We actually think 110 is where it starts becoming a real problem. But you have all these algorithms, these systematic traders that are leading the markets in both directions. And when they see oil approaching 100, it's 96 now. And when they see a 10-year yield approaching its highs of 4.8%, right now it's 4.5%. When that starts happening, investors get nervous. But look, we've had an amazing run. We've been up 9 straight weeks, all-time high after all-time high. Also had been up before today, 9 straight days. So we're hitting overbought levels that probably mean we need to take a break anyway. But as I told everybody today, we expect any dips to be very short-lived, and they are a buying opportunity.
Well, I see an article here that came out today. A latest Fed beige book underscores K-shaped split of the U.S. economy. And that's what you and I have talked about for a long time, that there's two Americas. There's a lot of people making a lot of money. If they're smart, they're listening to you. They're making a lot of money in the stock market and gold mining and other things. And if they're not listening to you, or they just have no money and they're hurting and gas prices are up, the middle class is getting killed. And that's the story of the world I'm living in. When I walk around the Vegas Strip, we all know business is down in Vegas. We all know less people are coming here. We all know that a lot of people are worried about it. And then I walk into Wynn or Encore or Bellagio, and it's jammed. Every restaurant is jammed. Every table playing craps is jammed. Rich people are doing great. Upper middle class people are doing great. Middle class and working class people are not doing great.
It's a sad reality, and I always hesitate to even say this because it sounds so negative. But the reality is Wall Street stopped caring about the second America a long time ago. It doesn't matter from Wall Street's point of view. They do not care. The markets do not care. That's just the reality of it. Corporate America has never been healthier. Record cash levels, record low debt levels. The first America has never been better. 40% of Americans that own a home have paid their home off. Average home equity is 71%. Record amounts in money markets, $8.2 trillion, $22 trillion sitting in M2 money supply. That's cash and cash equivalents. That's the first America. That's what the market cares about. So when I hear people that are harping on the how bad the second America is doing, as much as I hate to hear that, I'm from the second America. I understand it.
Me too.
It just doesn't matter anymore to the market. Investors should understand that. It's an important point that most people don't understand.
Yeah, and then corporate profits. That's the thing you keep banging the drums about when I read your VRA newsletter every morning. It's that if things are so bad and they feel bad and they look bad because you read the media, everything's negative and everything's bad, but the media lies about everything and they hate Trump. When things were really bad under Biden, every article said things were good. So they're trying to destroy Trump. And yet, if things are so bad, how is it possible that corporate profits are the highest they've ever been? And I think in the last quarter, what were they, like up 25%? Crazy numbers.
We came into this year saying that we expected corporate earnings, SPF 100 earnings, to be 18 to 20% higher. Wall Street was at 11%. So people looked at our estimate and go, you're idiots. Well, there's no way that's going to happen. They're coming in at 28.5%. Even we were on the low side. We think over the year, the rest of the year, we'll average over 30% for corporate profits, earnings per share. And again, you have to go back. Everybody goes, well, that happened also in 2021. Yeah, that was coming out of COVID with $8 trillion in funding money that the Fed and the government had inserted into the economy. You got to go back to 2005 to find a similar period with an economy that's not being injected with a lot of liquidity, just purely driven by the strength of the economy and corporate earnings to find a similar period. This corporate earnings and GDP growth drive the markets. If you know what those two things are doing, and again, we expect a GDP growth to hit 5% in the next month or two. No one's expecting that. We'll be on the low side as well. But this is the key point is also, this is just getting started. You know, as you mentioned, TDS is everywhere. There's a psyop of negativity I've been talking about for a decade, all the negativity out there. Wayne, everybody we talk to is like, what are you talking about, invest? Markets at all-time highs, we've been melting up. Everything is horrible. It's not a real rally. It's going to fall apart. And when you see that kind of majority, when everybody feels that way, I'm a lifelong contrarian. I know you are too. When I hear everybody that concerned, it tells me just buy more, be more aggressive. We're going that much higher. People really need to understand what's happening. You're being lied to. There's a psyop of negativity. It's designed to keep you negative. When people are negative and scared, they're easily controlled. I think people like us need to talk about this more. It's such an important topic because you got so many people that are afraid to get in the market, and that means their retirement plans aren't going to be properly funded. Instead, they're investing in conservatives like CDs and money markets. After inflation, they're losing money. You have to be in this market. You have to be in real estate. You have to be in housing. This is the beginning of a melt and move higher that we think this bull market runs well into the 2030s. It's going to be the greatest bull market of all time. Trump told us a golden age of America is coming. I'm amazed at all the Trump fans that listen to every word he says, but are missing that point. They somehow don't believe that this economy and market are going to keep melting up. Instead, they're addicted to, we have too much debt. Look, we have the world's sovereign reserve currency, right? When you have the world's sovereign reserve currency, government debt is largely an illusion. Again, this is a point that very few people understand. We could literally write a check and pay off our $38 trillion in debt, and nobody could do anything about it. So the debt, it doesn't matter. It's going to be dealt with. We think we know how it's going to be dealt with in the next 5 to 10 years. And we think Trump's going to set that up with Bessent and now Kevin Warsh as well. But again, focus on the positives. We think that's where people should be focused on instead of this psyop of negativity that is really destroying people's retirement plans and savings accounts.
Well, Trump finally has the Fed chief that he wants. The last one was a Fed thief, in my opinion. That's what I always called Jerome Powell, the Fed thief. So now we've got a Fed chief that Trump wanted. Is he going to be able to lower interest rates?
Absolutely. This is one of our big themes as well. And again, we're contrarians on this too. Everyone's talking about inflation's coming back. Everyone's talking about, interest rates are going to go higher. And again, if you're listening to that propaganda, it's going to kill you. That's not going to happen. Rates are going lower. They're going a lot lower. And here's why. We are entering a period of stark and deep disinflation that within 3 years will be deflation. It's being driven by what we call the innovation revolution. The great thing about innovation,
AI, right?
Right. Well, it's deeper than AI. It's innovation across everything. AI is, of course, one of the driving factors, of course. You're exactly right. But this level of innovation, what innovation does is makes things cheaper. And it's going to make everything cheaper. We're going to, again, have a level of GDP growth that's going to blow people away. We think 10% GDP growth within 3 years. Again, you got to go back forever to find that. And so if we're right about our disinflation theme, then interest rates are going a lot lower. We think 3.5% of the 10-year by year end.
All right, we are headed to a break. I'd like to keep you for another segment. Kip, can you hang on?
Absolutely.
I want to talk a little bit about what the average investor should be doing. And I want to talk about the fact that a lot of people who follow me, for whatever reason, complain that they just don't have a lot of money. They're in the middle class, and these gas prices are killing them. Yeah. What do you say to them? Is there a way they can profit off VRA? Let's talk about that when we get back, because there are two Americas. Let's talk to the other America. Right. What can people do to prepare for what's coming and take advantage of it, capitalize on it? We'll be right back. More with Kip Herriage, VRAinsider.com. I'm Wayne Allyn Root. This is War Zone Live. My website, rootforamerica.com. Email me anytime, WayneRoot@gmail.com.
Hi, this is Wayne Allyn Root from my great friends John and
All right, Wayne Allyn Root. I am joined by Gordon Bond. What an honor. Owner of Bond Arms, one of the great gun manufacturers, all made in the USA, all made in Texas. His website is getbondarms.com. Gordon, what makes Bond Arms different from any other gun manufacturer?
Well, when my brother started the company a long time ago, the regular Derringer, let me see if I can get it in the picture here, was basically known as a cheap, dangerous throwaway gun. This is a 1865 model. Derringers have been around forever. And what he did was take a dangerous gun and just made it very cool by better materials, trigger guard, interchangeable barrels, solid stainless steel. And Wayne, like you saw at the show, people love picking them up and just holding them. And it's just like, they pick it up and it's like, wow, this is like a real gun.
That's great. I saw it. My wife and I were at the show, and she's a gun aficionado even more than I am. And she said it was the best booth at the entire gun show. Out of thousands of booths was Gordon's booth, Bond Arms. To celebrate America's 250th anniversary, Bond Arms is releasing the American 250 edition handgun at a special price only for my fans. Tell us about it.
So one thing that we wanted to do, when I graduated in 1976, it was the bicentennial, and that's all they talked about all year long. And so when this 250th anniversary was coming up, we really wanted to do something special on this. And what you're seeing on the screen right now is the stainless steel version. It's 45 long Colt and 410 shotgun shell, very well built. I mean, our guns are built like a tank. People love the quality. They call it a hand cannon, best snake gun you've ever had. Oh yeah, there's a beautiful side with the flag and the Liberty. And people just love the way that we do things. I mean, they'll come to our booth every year and just go, wow, what are y'all doing this year? You know, what crazy thing are you doing this year? So the American 250, we're really going to focus on that. We want to give everybody the opportunity to own a piece of history.
Gun. What a beautiful gun. What a gorgeous gun. The engravings. Wow. And I love that name, hand cannon. I want a hand cannon. Mine got delivered today. I'll have them for next week's show. My own personal hand cannon from Bond Arms. How do you get it? Go to getbondarms.com. See the number on the screen, getbondarms.com, or call 817-573-4445. See the disclaimer on the bottom of the screen for certain restrictions. Getbondarms.com. Gordon, thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
Hi, I'm Wayne Allyn Root from Vertical Research Advisory, VRA. Kip Herriage's one-of-a-kind global investment and economic newsletter. Listen up. Trump is in charge. The glory days are here.
Growth rates are only going to grow from here.
This is your 4-year window to make a fortune and set up your retirement for the rest of your life. Kip wins whether the markets are up or down, whether the economy is up or down.
We set our folks up for long-term success.
For 21 years, Kip's been a friend as well as my personal financial advisor. During that time, he's beaten the markets 86% of the time, while the average Wall Street money manager loses the market 90% of the time. Now Kip is predicting a new golden age for the economy. Let Kip prove it to you for free. Kip's offering his daily VRA investment letter completely free for 2 weeks. Free for 2 weeks. Try it for 2 weeks. I know you'll stay for life. Join now at VRAinsider.com. All right, Wayne on the root is on fire. We're back with Kip Herriage. You want to talk a little bit more about these two Americas? I thought that was a topic worth really digging into a little bit. So the biggest complaint I get, Kip, from my own fans, my own viewers, my own listeners, is that, hey, Wayne, I hear you each time in your interviews with Kip, and I hear you touting Kip's newsletter, and it's obvious that we can make a lot of money with him, but we don't have a lot of money because we're not doing well and we lost our job, or we have a job but it doesn't pay enough, or the gas prices are killing us, or my kids go to college and the college bills are killing us. Everyone's got a reason why they can't invest in the stock market. So therefore your newsletter doesn't work for them. And I'm talking about the middle class. Now, again, not the upper classes, which you're doing great. I'm talking about the ones who aren't taking advantage of all the things you're talking about. What do you say to someone like that? Is there something they can do to take advantage of all the good stuff coming so that they can make some money and not complain so much?
It's such an important topic. And again, this is a conversation we have with people every day, 7 days a week, 365 a year, because people have been lied to again. For example, look, if you don't have any money, you're out of jobs. And look, if you don't have money, obviously it's difficult. But most people, right, that are, 50, 60, they're asset rich and cash poor because they've been told to pay your home off. That's what they've been told to do, and that's the worst strategy possible. Now, for everybody, some people just want to have no debt. I understand that. But if the question is, how do I find money to put into the market, to fund private investments or fund your own business, whatever you want to do, whoever told you, and I'm not going to mention his name because he's actually a pretty good guy, but everybody knows who he is. Pay off your home, right? Well, here's the problem with that. And we're seeing it right now in America. People think they're broke, but they've either paid their home off or they're on their way to doing it, but they have a lot of home equity, right? Your interest rate, if you get a HELOC, you take money out of your home, your interest rate's going to be 6-7%. That's where a 30-year mortgage is. You can get that, right? Again, remember the country averages. 40% of homeowners have no mortgage. They have paid their homes off. These are all-time highs. 71%, the average home equity is 71%. So we know from the data, it's $36 trillion in home equity. We know from the data that people have assets, right? They're afraid to use them. 2008, the financial crisis was a killer. People hadn't forgotten it. That wound is still fresh. And I think because of that, it's still impacting people's decision-making.
Just like the Great Depression.
Yeah,
Lots of people, generations of people they were scared for the rest of their lives after the Great Depression. And a lot of people are scared from the Great Depression too, which happened really from 2007-ish to maybe 2010. There was a funky 3-4 years there that were pretty scary and pretty bad. A lot of people have never recovered from the fear of that.
Like the Great Depression, 2008 was like a once every 90, 100-year event. Some people think there's an 81-year cycle, but regardless, we're just 15 years or so past that, 17 years past the financial crisis. But that wound is still so fresh. So what we tell people is, you know what? Forget your preconceived notions about what I should and shouldn't do with my money. Look at all of your assets. If you've got a lot of home equity and you think you're not going to be able to retire, talk to somebody about what your options are. Because again, if we're even close to being right, we think the market's going to average 25% gains on average for a decade from here. And again, that's been our forecast for 4 years. We've been the most bullish strategists in America for 4 years. We've been right to be so. And so if you have an opportunity to borrow money at 6 or 7%, and again, if we're right about rates going lower, you can refinance that, right? I think ultimately you'll have a mortgage at 2 or 3% like we had coming out of COVID. I think that those days are coming again. But then you can borrow at a low rate and invest in conservative equity. You can SPF 100 funds, a lot of good index funds. You don't have to take a risk with individual stocks, or work with somebody like us, that's beaten the market 19 to 22 years. Again, as you said a minute ago, we've averaged 38% returns over the last 3 years. And again, we're extremely bullish on the future. Great opportunities out there, both public and private. Another thing I'll mention is that we are in an age of entrepreneurialism. Again, with this melt up of an economy, golden age of America, there's never been a better time to start your own business. So many people, I know people that are making a fortune in their own business, and they're morons. They're frankly morons, but they did it and they stuck with it, right? And now they're living the life. So take a look at your life.
Let me throw in one asterisk to that.
Go.
The reason people who've done well starting their own businesses, I'm sure the people have done it in Texas. You got to do it in a red state. Got to do it in Texas or Florida or Tennessee or one of the big states everyone's moving to, South Carolina, North Carolina, and my state of Nevada and Arizona and Utah. If you're not doing it in a red state, you got to get out of a blue state. You not only a business, just living. You got to get out of blue states, and that's why so many people are doing it. All right, we're headed to a break. Kip Herridge, tell everyone how they get 2 weeks free of VRA.
Go to VRAinsider.com. Again, VRAinsider.com. Get everything all of our clients do for 2 free weeks.
All right, VRAinsider.com. And you get his book for free as well. The Big Bribe is absolutely free. But read the book and spend 2 weeks reading the newsletter, and I will guarantee you'll be so impressed, you're going to stay forever. You're going to stay for life like I have, 23 years. VRAinsider.com. Thank you, Kip.
Thanks, Wayne. Great seeing you, man.
God bless. All right, we'll be right back. Wayne Allyn Root. This is Warzone Live, hour number 2, coming up next.
What would you say if we told you you could reverse most any ailment or symptom
without painful exercises in just 88 days? We have created the only patent-pending intercellular hydration protocol.
Don't miss your opportunity to feel better. We know there's a lot of false hope out there, and many people have bought programs that work for a moment, but life's a lot longer than a moment.
We have been helping people gain intercellular hydration for nearly 3 decades.
You will lose fat, not weight, fat. Fast, including that killer visceral fat. Chronic dehydration is one of the root causes of many ailments and symptoms. Ask your doctor about Energized Health. Don't miss your opportunity to transform your health now.
So log on to EnergizedHealth.com. That's EnergizedHealth.com.
Possible side effects may include increased joy, energy, potential reduction in prescriptions, more fulfilling relationships, fewer doctor visits, and overall improved quality of health and life.
Coming to you from Las Vegas. This is known as Warzone Live, Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. East Coast time. Great to be with you. All kinds of things happening. This is the mainstream media, not the mainstream media, and I am the biggest MAGA mouth in the world. We got a great guest. Dinesh D'Souza is with us. Dinesh, we appreciate you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Wayne.
Buckle up your seatbelts. Let's go to war. I'm an SOB, son of a butcher, and America has been great to me. Only in America could these things happen People like my grandfather wouldn't make it where he came from, and my father wouldn't make it in any other country. Well, that's a no-brainer, right? We're the greatest nation in the history of civilization. No one else has ever come close.
Good to see you again, Wayne.
Thank you. I'm delighted to be back with you, my friend.
Doing great, Wayne. Good to be here.
The Root's on fire. Welcome to my show, Warzone Live. Monday through Friday, official podcast, The Gateway Pundit, from 6 to 8 p.m. East Coast time, 3 to 5 p.m. West Coast time every day. This is the Wayne Stream Media. No more mainstream media allowed in. Only Wayne Stream Media, meaning raw truth and in-your-face mother trucker information. As many of you know, I'm an idea man. I don't just criticize like 99% of TV and radio hosts. I contribute with doable solutions. The American people don't like it. I know. I speak to them. The people who believe in themselves and believe in this country and have a passion and a love for this country. And this country responds in kind by giving the most incredible mobility and opportunity in the world. And that's because of low taxes and very light regulation. Those are the two things in life that matter to me, taxes and regulation. If you don't have a lot of laws, a lot of woke laws, and a lot of communist, Marxist, socialist, leftist laws, and you don't have high taxes, then anybody who's smart can get ahead and achieve whatever they want in life.
Warning! The root's on fire! You're about to experience the most high-octane, pedal-to-the-metal controversial show of your life. Please buckle up and hold on tightly. This station is not responsible for injuries. This is Wayne Allyn Root, raw and unfiltered, with America's favorite conservative rock star. Direct from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. What time is it? It's time for war! Here's your host, 100% raw truth, 100% American made, the warrior, Wayne Allyn Root.
All right, Wayne Allyn Root. Usually I'm brimming with good news. Today I've got lousy news, right? The House passes a resolution to end the war with Iran. 4 Republicans voting with Democrats. Thomas Massie, what a surprise. Brian Fitzpatrick, what a surprise. Tom Barrett and Warren Davidson, I never heard of either one of them, but they're obviously rhinos. And the resolution is probably dead on arrival in the Senate, but it just looks bad for Trump, and it emboldens Iran. It's the wrong signal at the wrong time. I'm not thrilled with the way Trump has handled the Iran war, by the way. I think that he's given them too much rope to hang themselves. He should be bombing them into submission. He should not be stalling and stalling and stalling. But again, Trump's smarter than me. He knows everything that he needs to do. So I may not, I may be missing pieces of this equation, but I know the mail that I get. I know the fan mail that I get from my fans, my viewers, my listeners. Everyone agrees with me that they're just really shocked how nice Trump has been with Iran, when the last thing you want to be is nice to someone that breaks every agreement, breaks their word, murders their people in the street, wants to wipe Jews off the face of the earth, wants to wipe out Israel, wants a nuclear bomb to hold the whole world hostage. Trump knows all this. That's why we went in the first place. And yet, very, very nice to them, giving them lots of time to make decisions. They bomb us, and he doesn't do anything in return. Our bases, or Israel's bases, or bombs Israel. Lobs missiles to Israel, lobs missiles into the Kuwait airport. Just yesterday, killed 1 and injured, I think, 56, and destroyed the main building in the Kuwait airport. And we don't do anything in return. And no one can understand why Trump is hesitating to attack them. No one gets it. And then in the middle of all that, Iran is emboldened because their plan is so obvious. Just wait Trump out. The midterms are coming, and Trump has got to get out. He's got to get the gas prices down. And so they're just waiting as long as they can. That's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is you don't know who to negotiate with, because we already killed all the important people, not once, not twice, but I think 3 levels. 3 levels down, so there's nobody left to negotiate with, so we don't even know who we're negotiating with. More news that's kind of funky. Senate Republicans advance ICE funding reconciliation, but without the White House ballroom funding, and that's after Trump scrapped the weaponization fund. The weaponization fund was Trump saying, hey, the IRS owes me a lot of money because of all the bad things they did to me, and I'll settle for no money if you give us a fund of, $1.75 billion, I believe, to repay the people that got treated badly by the government. And that included me, who was censored so badly by this government, and forced social media to fire me, to ban me, to screw me over, and to make sure no one could hear what I was saying. And of course, the J6ers, whose lives were wrecked 1,000 times worse than me, who went to prison, who didn't get a trial, who lost their life savings to legal fees, disaster, lost their jobs. And that's gone. The weaponization fund is gone. The DOJ said they give up. Boom, no good, because the Senate complained about it. Now they're passing reconciliation ICE funding, which is good, but without the ballroom funding. And again, is that important in the scheme of things? The ballroom at the White House, it sounds unimportant. It sounds picayune and minuscule, but the reality is, as you saw from the White House Correspondents' Dinner, the president isn't safe going out to other places in Washington, D.C. You need these events to be at a safe White House ballroom with high security. So I think it's actually very important. And then we have the news today, which is good news, by the way, that job openings soared to 7.6 million. The number of open jobs in the U.S., 7.6 million in April. Layoffs declined, evidence of how demand for workers has intensified. 7.6 million open jobs, highest in nearly 2 years. So is the economy really bad? Or again, is everyone believing the lies of the media? They're making it like things are bad. If things are bad, why are corporate profits the highest in history? Why are they up like 28% over a year ago? Corporations on Wall Street are kicking ass. And I know the answer. The answer is, here's a story. Latest Fed Beige Book underscores K-shaped split of U.S. economy. Basically, there's two Americas now, as I discussed in hour one with Kip Herridge. There's lower class, working class, middle class America, which are feeling the sting of the gas prices and feeling the sting of inflation. And then there's everybody at the top, which is like maybe 5-10%. That's the upper middle class and the filthy rich. And they're all kicking ass, and life is good for them. For everybody else, it's tough, and they're just barely getting by, and then the gas prices blow up, and they're not even getting by anymore. So there's a split in the economy. So, yes, there are a lot of job openings. That's good. Yes, the media lies about everything. The economy is not bad. They act like it's bad. Considering how bad the inflation is, and it is pretty bad, and it is hurting the middle class, the economy's doing remarkably well. If the inflation was so bad, no one had money. How is spending up? How are these corporations making so much money? So it's really a mixed bag of things going on. Good news, the Supreme Court allows Alabama's GOP-backed congressional map for the midterms. That's good news because that's racism. It's pure racism that they just canceled out. To create a district just for black people, which is automatically a Democrat district, is not just racism against whites and racism in favor of blacks, but it's also, the right word isn't racism, but it's bias against Republicans. Do we carve out all white Republican districts where everyone's Protestant, white, and votes Republican? Because I don't think we should, so we shouldn't create all black districts. Supreme Court knocked that out in Louisiana. Now they locked it out in Alabama, and it means Republicans are going to gain seats. That's good news. Victoria's Secret abandons woke and its stock soars. Do you think it's a coincidence? I mean, I was ranting about this for years now, that all you see on TV, no longer any white people, no longer any beautiful people, no longer any thin people, no longer any hot blonde women. Everybody is a person of color. Everybody's transgender. Everybody's gay. Everybody's butch. The women look ugly, butch, and fat. They're lesbians. And you think you're going to sell things based on that? You're not. It doesn't matter whether you like what I'm saying or not. It was true, and it was right, and it was accurate. And you can't make money. The only way since the beginning of time you make money is to have beautiful models. Thin, gorgeous women with very large breasts for their thin stomachs. That's what sells. And Victoria's Secret went back to that because Trump was elected and woke died. And instead of lesbians and transgenders and men acting like women and women who didn't look like women, they went with the same kind of models that have sold clothing and lingerie and bras since the beginning of time. Beautiful women, gorgeous thin women. And so Victoria's Secret looks like what America wants to be, which is beautiful and thin. Okay, that's just the truth. It's just the truth. And Democrats are nuts. Let me give some examples of how nuts Democrats are. James Tallarico, that's the guy running for U.S. Senate in Texas as a Democrat. He compares unborn children to parasites. Unborn children to parasites. He also said God is non-binary, and the Bible permits abortion, and the 10 Commandments are an act of violence. I don't think he's going too far in the Texas general election in November. Far-left extremist Scott Wiener, who decriminalized the spreading of AIDS. He said it's not a crime to know you have AIDS and have sex with someone and infect them without telling them. And he passed the pedophile protection bill, and he advances in the California primary to replace Nancy Pelosi. Far-left extremist California State Senator Scott Wiener, he's trying to represent the 11th Congressional District of California, Nancy Pelosi's seat, deep blue San Francisco seat that Nancy Pelosi held for just about 40 years. 40 years. And with 40% of the vote counted, he leads decisively with 41% of the vote. In second place is a San Francisco supervisor, who I'm sure is just as left, with 28% of the vote, and a former AOC chief of staff trailing in third place. So he's going to advance in the top 2 to face this Chan woman, who's the San Francisco supervisor, Connie Chan. And the district is so heavily blue that Weiner is likely the automatic winner. But it's just interesting to see. He's a 56-year-old openly gay Harvard Law graduate. And he's built a career as one of California's most extreme politicians. His record is packed with legislation that has drawn intense backlash from law enforcement, parents, women's rights advocates, and even moderate Democrats in San Francisco. Among the most controversial, Senate Bill 132, the Transgender Respect Agency and Dignity Act. The law requires the California Department of Corrections, meaning prisons, and rehabilitation to house transgender, non-binary, intersex inmates according to their self-identified gender identity or wherever they say they feel safest rather than biological sex. So female inmates are in a prison cell with a gigantic man who looks like, Planet of the Apes, like some gigantic guy who's like 325 pounds, 6'8". He looks like a gigantic mammoth, whatever, a bear. I don't know, whatever the hell you say about a lion. You're in a cell. You're in a prison, and you're in the cell with them. You're in the shower with them. You're eating with them. I mean, talk about you're alone in the kitchen with them. You're alone in the yard with them. You're talking about rape central, man. These people are crazy, stark, raving crazy. We'll be right back. Warning, do not show this book to Democrats. Their heads will explode. It's How Illegal Immigrants Have Made America Great, and it's 101 blank pages. 101 blank pages. It's a great gag gift to show to anyone in your life. Buy 50 of them and hand it out to all your friends to make the case that we all know that illegal immigrants have done nothing for America. Stop lying. Anything they did 100 times more was bad. How illegal immigrants have made America great. A few of them have done some good things. They've been maids, they've been nannies, they've mowed your lawn. Okay, but they took billions in welfare, billions in food stamps, billions in disability. It is a net negative on America, and I prove it with 100 blank pages. You'll love the book. Go get it at Amazon. Look up Wayne Allyn Root Books, and we'll turn this into a #1 bestseller, as all my recent books have been. All right, one of my favorite guests ever, Allyn Pariser's with us, an advocate for GreatPatriotStore.com. He's been a customer for 36 years, almost 4 decades. My wife and I, Cindy, do much of our monthly shopping now at GreatPatriotStore.com. It's an alternative to wokeness. It's run by pro-American conservatives. USA Today voted it one of the best stores in America in 2025. And with all these communists taking over, Allyn Pariser, New York, Seattle, Chicago, promising cheap government groceries or free, you need to buy American. Tell us why.
Absolutely. A lot of our competitors have completely lost it. They've gone totally woke over the years, but our founding axiom is really very simple. For 41 years, we've been focused on manufacturing exceptional products at reasonable prices, made by Americans, here in America, for Americans. And we've expanded. We have manufacturing plants across the United States, distribution plants across the United States. And not only can Americans get the best quality, the best price from Great Patriot Store, in most cases, we can deliver to your front door even faster than Amazon.
So prices are high everywhere. Procter & Gamble and Amazon are considering price increases. How do the prices at Great Patriot Store compare to national brands?
Well, we've got hundreds of products, Wayne, but if you just take a look at one like our laundry detergent, we make it, it's patented, and it's literally almost fractions, almost half the price of our competitors, and you get 96 loads of wash. It's the best value. There's no toxic chemicals in any of our products whatsoever. And if you're looking to lose some of those holiday pounds, you don't need the shots with the LPG-1 drugs. We have something called berberine. Nature's Ozempic is what people are calling it. It's legit, it works, and we've got it at a better price than any of our competitors.
All right, we've got just seconds to go, so be quick. I love your beef. I eat your sirloin and your New York steak all the time. It's kind of breakfast and lunch for me all the time. Why is your beef superior?
Made in America, never, ever any hormones, ever any antibiotics, no mRNA. It's all prime. It's the best quality that you can find at the best price, free shipping, and it's the best beef on the planet.
All right, to get your free gift, that's right, a free gift, purchase the beef and other great American products. You got to be a member. Go to greatpatriotstore.com, fill out the form, one of their conservative... My new book is out, How Illegal Immigrants Have Made America Great. You can only get it at Amazon. How Illegal Immigrants Have Made America Great. Finally, all of their unsung achievements in one book, and it's 100+ blank pages. Okay, get it? It's a gag gift, and it even says on the front, warning, do not show this book to Democrats. Their heads will explode. And the greatest gag gift ever for conservatives, Republicans, MAGA patriots, and anyone born in the USA. How Illegal Immigrants Have Made America Great. 100 blank pages. Go get 10 copies, 20 copies. Give it out to all your friends so they get the message that illegal immigrants have not done anything to make America great. And by the way, understand my theory here. Legal immigrants have done lots of things to make America great. Our whole country is legal immigrants. My grandparents were legal immigrants. Your grandparents were legal immigrants. Your great-grandparents were legal immigrants. All right, Wayne on the route. I'm a big fan of Spencer Pratt. I think he's a great candidate for mayor of LA. I think you do a great job. I have zero faith he's going to win in the general election in November. I've said from day one they're going to fix it. They're going to rig it. He's never going to get a chance to win. He's never going to get a chance to even come close. He may win the real vote, but they're going to pour in thousands of mail-in ballots and destroy him at the end. They can't let him win. I said this on last night's America Speaks show, my new show on Real America's Voice TV. I said, they can't let him win because then he would be able to investigate, to peek under the hood at all the terrible crimes they've committed in Los Angeles, all the money they've stolen. They can't let a Republican win for governor, Steve Hilton, because then Newsom would go to prison. All the people around Newsom would go to prison. Nancy Pelosi would go to prison. All the people running LA would go to prison. When you see what they've actually done, you'd throw up. The money they've stolen and the money they've given away to illegals, you'd throw up. And the nation would go wild. No one would believe how bad it is. Makes Minnesota look like a walk in the park. They're never going to let Spencer Pratt win. And I don't believe they're ever going to let Steve Hilton win for governor either. And just to back up what I say, here's an article here. Live updates from Los Angeles election officials on primary night revealed a statistical impossibility that observers found difficult to dismiss as routine variance. In the contest for mayor, as the share of ballots tallied moved from 39% to 42%, incumbent Karen Bass added more than 12,000 votes to her total. Neetha Raman, the socialist, added nearly 10,000 votes, and Spencer Pratt added 0. It's just not statistically possible. The same thing we all said about President Trump in 2020. It's not possible that overnight there were drops of 330,000 ballots in places like Detroit, Michigan. And where else did this all happen? In Arizona, in Georgia, in Wisconsin, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 to 0, or to 20, or to 100, 300,000 to 100. They just dropped enough ballots that Biden would suddenly take the lead. And it's the same kind of thing happening in LA. Spencer Pratt caught fire, and he came close. Very close. I mean, he's losing. I think last I looked, it was like 36 to 32 or something like that. Karen Bass beating him. He'll definitely be in the runoff. They're never going to let him win. They cheat, they rig, they steal, and they've committed so many crimes they can't let anyone peek under the hood. All right, I'll finish up this segment by talking about Argentina, because Wayne Root says if only Donald Trump had followed this guy in Argentina, Javier Milei, who is the ultimate conservative / libertarian, who did all the things everyone said could never be done and made all the cuts that everyone said could never be made. In the United States, we can't do the things they do in Argentina. Why couldn't we? The whole idea of Doge was to do these things. When Milei entered the race to be Argentina's president, 108 notable economists said his policies would be a disaster. 3 years later, the maverick president continues to prove them wrong. As Argentina's new president in December 2023, he faced an ailing economy due to corruption, massive inflation. Inflation, by the way, was running at 211%. How about that one? People complain about Trump because you've got 3% inflation. 211%. And a bloated government. Exports were just $5 billion for the month, and GDP was negative 2.3%. And 108 economists from around the world signed a letter. And they said that his economic platform was fraught with risks that make them potentially very harmful for the Argentinian economy and the Argentinian people. And simple solutions may sound appealing, but they will cause devastation in the real world. And fast forward to 2026, inflation is only 34% instead of 211%. Exports increased to almost $9 billion a month. GDP growth, instead of being negative, surged to 4.4%. Milei's programs worked. And what did he do? He massively cut government and fired government employees and banned government employee unions. Everything that we should have done in this country that I wish Trump could have done. Zicha Genesis Medicine is the sponsor of this show. I've been telling you about their medicines to reverse type 2 diabetes and reverse Parkinson's and reverse the number one cause of death in the world, small vessel heart disease. This form of heart disease is responsible for 1/3 of the deaths in the world. Now they have a treatment for it, and they have human data to show it's safe. And to get this medicine to market, they're seeking investors to fund more medical research studies. Zicha is offering investors a royalty of 50% of cash received until they reach 10 times their investment. And after 48 months, for any investors not happy, Zicha will pay them back 2 times their initial investment. If you're interested in learning more about this investment opportunity, go to cure-war.com. They created a website just for my fans, cure, CURE-war.com for Wayne Allyn Root, cure-war.com. We'll be right back. Great guest coming up. If you don't have a lot of laws and you don't have high taxes, then anybody who's smart can get ahead and achieve whatever they want in life. And Exhibit A and Example A is me and my family, right? My grandfather came here without 2 cents in his pocket, and really America was great to him. And my father was born without 2 cents in his pocket in Brownsville, Brooklyn, on Pitkin Avenue, one of the worst places in the world still to this day. And America was great to him. And he became a butcher, but a butcher store owner. That's a big difference. And I'm an SOB, son of a butcher, and America has been great to me. Only in America could these things happen. People like my grandfather wouldn't make it where he came from, Germany, and my father wouldn't make it in any other country, and me, Wayne Allyn Root, listen, I went from an SOB, son of a butcher, in a working class neighborhood in Mount Vernon, New York, on the Bronx borderline, attending one of the worst high schools in America, 4,000 students, so almost 100% black, and a few tough Italian guys, and me, one Jew. I'm joined by Kip Herridge, my old buddy, and an economic expert, CEO of Vertical Research Advisory. His website, VRAinsider.com. As I've explained on this show so many times, VRA has beaten the market in 19 of the last 22 years since Kip founded the VRA in 2003. Over the last 3 years, VRA had an average gain of 37%. Kip, congratulations on your success. I've seen it firsthand for over 22 years. I've read your newsletter for the last 22 plus years. You're my personal financial expert. How do you guys keep beating the markets almost every year when 90% of Wall Street money managers fail to do so?
Well, thanks, Wayne. I worked in that environment for 15 years, worked at Wall Street 15 years, helped take 7 companies public, raised and managed several $100 million. And I know how the groupthink of Wall Street works, and that's not how people make money. 90% of money managers, as you say, don't beat the markets every year. We do. And the reason really is I had great mentors that helped me to create what we call our VRA investing system. It's our proprietary market timing and sector selection system that tells us when to be in the market, when to be out, when to be aggressive, and when to take some profits, take some money to cash. And that helps us with our sector selection. Again, market timing, those are real keys. And we also love doing individual stock research. So that's where you put our clients and subscribers into, again, ETFs, individual stocks. And we also love Bitcoin and gold, as you know, and silver. In 2003, I recommended gold at $350 an ounce, silver at $5. We recommended Bitcoin at $2,000 in 2017. And combined with those three, we're up over 4,000% in gains for our 40 times your money for our subscribers. So we do things a little differently. Fifth and sixth generation native Texans, and we love what we do here in Texas.
Well, I'm a witness to all of it. I've been there for all of it. There's a lot of fear out there today, Kip. What should investors know about the stock market right now?
Yeah, you got to be in this market. That's what investors should know. Look, volatility is the price of admission. It just is. It comes with the territory. But these dips give us great buying opportunities. Look, we've been the most bullish market strategists in America for the last 4 years. We call this the innovation revolution meets the Trump economic miracle meets an absolute ocean of liquidity. Those are our big three. Again, Trump's economic miracle this year is really going to start paying its dues. We expect GDP growth to hit 5% this year. We expect the markets we think this bull market runs into the 2030s.
All right, everyone gets 2 weeks free automatically by going to VRAinsider.com. 2 weeks free. Judge for yourself. VRAinsider.com. Kip Herridge, thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
Why is freedom worth defending? Well, because there's nowhere else to go. There's no other country in the world to go to. So where are we going to escape to? We got to make America work. I would ask the opposite question. Why do all you communists and Marxists and socialists want to change America? Why do you stay where you are? And those of you who were born here that want communism, you know, the Bernie Sanders morons, the AOC morons, why don't you just go to the communist countries? Why are you so intent on changing something that works so well in the greatest country in the history of civilization? Who'd be dumb enough to want to change that? Democrats. All right, it's Wayne Allyn Root. The Root is on fire. Welcome back to the show. Freedom Fest is coming up fast. Wow, we started talking about this in March, and I suppose to most people that seemed like a million miles away. And people probably thought, well, I don't have to rush to get those tickets. Well, July 8th is about a month from now. Almost 1 month away, a month and a few days. July 8th to 11th at Caesars Forum Convention Center in Las Vegas. If you happen to, first of all, people flying from all over the world and all over the United States for Freedom Fest. But second of all, if you are lucky enough to live in Las Vegas and you're listening to my voice right now on my Vegas flagship radio station, or if you live near Vegas, like in California or Arizona, Utah, somewhere near Vegas, you're a very lucky person. You don't have to fly in from around the world. The people fly in from far-flung nations. They've got people from Singapore and Hong Kong and all over Europe flying in for Freedom Fest. You have it right in your backyard. If you're in Vegas, it's literally in your yard. So very, very cool. Freedom Fest is the gathering place to celebrate the 250th anniversary of Independence Day. Hear and meet famous speakers and authors and economists and health experts and political leaders. A financial freedom seminar with America's economist Mark Skousen. The Anthem Film Festival comedy show. Pitch Tank for entrepreneurs. Great debates, including the big annual mock trial. This year, ICE will be put on trial, and the ICE defense attorney is yours truly, Wayne Allyn Root. That'll be fun. That's on C-SPAN, broadcast nationwide. A trial of ICE, and I am the defense attorney. The MC is Kennedy from Fox News. The speakers, Steve Forbes, Glenn Beck, Adam Carolla, John Mackey, the founder of Whole Foods, and celebrity actors Rob Schneider and Dean Cain. Join me at Freedom Fest. For my fans only, get $100 off the registration. Go to freedomfest.com, and now you can't wait. You can't delay. You can't procrastinate any longer. You got to go there right now. Freedomfest.com. Coming up in a month. Use the promo code WAR to get $100 off. WAR to get $100 off. Freedomfest.com. All right, my guest is an old favorite of ours. He's on here all the time, Dr. Jeff Gunter, former U.S. ambassador to Iceland under President Trump, candidate for Congress, United States Congress in CD3, Nevada's 3rd congressional district. If he wins this primary coming up on June 9th, he faces off with Susie Lee, the Democrat who's just barely held on to that seat for several years now. He's a successful businessman, dermatologist, specializing in skin cancer surgery, owns skin cancer clinics all over the United States. His website, drjeffgunter.com. Jeff, welcome to the show. How are you?
It's a blessing to be here, Wayne. Before I go on the air with you, I'm able to listen to all the different segments and things you talk about, and it's really just so impressive. And the whole concept that we can mimic Argentina and all the greatness that's going on there is another Wayne Allyn Root brilliant observation out of the box and so spot on.
Yeah, unfortunately, our nation, you think Argentina, they tried so hard to stop Javier Milei, and they couldn't. He steamrolled them. But in America, Trump is getting stopped, roadblocked, whatever word you want to use. Insurrection happening everywhere he turns. There's a judge blocking him. There's protesters in the streets. There's Republican senators blocking him with the SAVE Act. It's amazing to say, but it was easier to turn around Argentina than it is to turn around the United States of America. Isn't that sad?
Yeah, so brilliant. And unfortunately, in American politics, there's not a delay of game penalty. So these guys just see the clock running, and no one has to go to the penalty box, a.k.a. Pelican Bay. But, they just run out the clock all day long, and they wait for the next person who maybe they have a little bit more leverage on, maybe
or a lot more.
On,
or a lot more.
A lot more. And they just keep running out the clock. So we have to find a delay of game penalty against these guys. And
and the same thing's happening in Iran. Iran understands they have the midterms coming up in the United States, and all they have to do is run out the clock. They are very well aware. Why are they aware? Because the American media and because of Democrats who are their best friends who want Trump to fail and America to fail so badly that they'd rather we lose in the war to Iran and get egg on our face and run away like losers like Biden did in Afghanistan than let Trump get a victory and win the midterms. So the Democrats are on Iran's side. They're telling them, stall, stall, stall. Time is on your side.
Yeah, they're socialists. They're Marxists. The reality is they hate America. Show me one Democrat who sincerely sits there and says, I love America. I want the best for America. It's just lip service. Their fundamental ideology is Marxism and socialism. And that's how it is. And that's why when I'm the next U.S. congressman, I will fight them tooth and nail. I'm not influenceable. They can't beat me down. They don't have anything against me. And that's why I'm their worst nightmare, besides the fact I'm the only guy who can beat Susie Lee. My competition is just basically inexperienced and have no ability to beat socialist Susie Lee. And that's why I'm doing so well. And that's why I have such great support, Wayne.
Well, you're a little modest because the reason that I think you're the best choice and I endorsed you to be the candidate against Susie Lee is because you have a great personality. You're fun to be with. You have a lot of personality. You're bigger than life like me. When we're together, we have a lot of fun. You're never quiet, just like I'm never quiet. You've always got something to say. And that's the exact definition to me of an excellent political candidate. And too often in Nevada, we run people who have no personality at all. We also run people who have no money behind them at all. You're ready to spend some serious money of your own to beat Susie Lee, in addition to RNC money and all the other funding, PAC money that would come in. You're a guy who has deep pockets that can spend your own money, and that's what we need. And so often we run candidates here who have A, no personality, and B, no entertainment factor. They're not able to be funny. They're not able to be entertaining. And C, they don't have the ability, because they have no money, to compete with all the money Democrats have from foreign interests. The Susie Lees of the world, they all get their money from foreign entities that hate America, and they want to elect people who are weak, that will give China everything they want and Mexican drug cartel everything they want. And you can upend that by the fact that you're a wealthy guy and you could spend some of your own money. So I think you're a good candidate for a whole variety of reasons.
Absolutely. And something, we're real. When we go on your show together, whatever we do, it's not scripted. It's not some made up, AstroTurf thing. It's basically, Wayne, Allyn, Root, and Jeff talking about how much we love America and how deep conservative values that we not only talk the talk, but we walk the walk. And that resonates with people. That's why I'm doing so well. And this, to be honest with you, Wayne, that's why you're revered, not only as the Rush Limbaugh of Las Vegas, but around the country. You have such a diehard following because of the genuine, unscripted quality of who you are. So it's a blessing to have that type of endorsement from you, but it's also a blessing to have the great confidence of the voters, as well as law enforcement in Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Police Protective Association endorsed me, and a whole host of other congressmen. And
I think if I'm not mistaken, weren't you endorsed by like 4 different police organizations?
I think it's more. I think it's like 6 or 7, Wayne, and they're all under that one umbrella. And look, you can buy endorsements, but you can't buy the police. You cannot buy the men and women in blue. And I've said it. I don't always just say it once. I say it 3 times. Blue lives matter. Blue lives matter. Blue lives matter. And Jeff Gunter will always run towards law enforcement like they run towards us when they need them. And so many politicians shy away when the going gets tough. But that's why law enforcement loves me, because I've worked with the CIA. I've worked with the FBI. I've worked with DHS. I've worked with law enforcement. I've taken ride-alongs with law enforcement. In fact, I have a picture when I'm 2 years old next to a great motorcycle cop. So it's in my blood. My father was a JAG. I love law enforcement, and that's why they support me, and they can't be bought. And it's just complete. It's very humbling to have their support here as I'm going to be taking on socialist Susie Lee.
When you say JAG, the average person may not know what you mean. That's a military prosecutor, correct? Your dad was a military prosecutor.
Absolutely. Stationed at Fort Ord as a judge advocate general. Trained at University of Virginia, and it's a great honor. In fact, my great uncle, he was in World War I, and he was teaching, get a load of this, maritime navigation in World War I. Frank Gunter, my great uncle, and very accomplished guy, and very blessed to have relatives who just love America the way I do.
Let's talk about LA a little bit, because here in Las Vegas, we've been invaded by LA, and people, it's really getting even bigger, stronger. The wave of people coming from Los Angeles, and it's not like they're not coming also from San Diego and from San Francisco and a few from New York and a few from Chicago. A lot of people are moving to Las Vegas and Reno and Nevada in general, from every blue state, but primarily it's LA coming here. And the reason why is on display in this mayoral race in Los Angeles. Pratt is going to be in a runoff now. It's almost certain, unless they, move in literally thousands and thousands of mail-in ballots. And I wouldn't put it by him over the next few days to actually lift the socialists beyond Pratt. I don't think they can do it now, because he's so far ahead of her, and he's so close to Karen Bass. I think it's pretty fait accompli. It's going to be a runoff between Karen Bass and Pratt. The question is whether you could ever win in Los Angeles when you know they rigged the system with mail-in votes and no voter ID. Can Pratt win in November in a 2-horse race?
Pratt can win. Pratt is winning. I think you got to add 20 points to whatever you're seeing them saying. But we know these guys. They're corrupt. They're dirty. And I think you hit the nail on the head when it comes to Steve Hilton. They're not going to let him be governor. Why? Because Pelosi and all of them will go to jail. The depth and breadth of corruption that we see throughout California, in Los Angeles as well, is absolutely shameful. Come on. Almost 90 hospice care facilities in one building, milking the government for millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Jeff,
These
that's
guys
why
are
they can't
dirty.
That's why they can't let Pratt win either. Because the dirt, I think the dirt in L.A. and the corruption in L.A. and the stolen money in L.A. is even worse than it is in the state of California. I think it's so heavy they can never let a Republican win because he'd be able to look under the hood, investigate, and see what's going on and tell the whole world how Democrats have ripped off the taxpayers, raped the taxpayers literally over the coals, and stolen the money on behalf of themselves, their friends, their donors, and the illegal aliens. I'm getting a 10 count. We got to run. Dr. Jeff Gunter, CD3, my choice for United States Congress right here in Las Vegas. Vote for Jeff Gunter in the Republican primary.
Thank you.
Is the American dream still alive? You're damn right. Why do you think 50 million illegal aliens have come here? They're not invading Russia. They're not invading China, and they're not invading Canada or Mexico. They're all coming to America because they believe the American dream is alive. Wayne Allyn Root, I am joined by Gordon Bond. What an honor. Owner of Bond Arms, one of the great gun manufacturers, all made in the USA, all made in Texas. His website is getbondarms.com. Gordon, what makes Bond Arms different from any other gun manufacturer?
Well, when my brother started the company a long time ago, the regular Derringer, let me see if I can get it in the picture here, was basically known as a cheap, dangerous throwaway gun. This is a 1865 model. Derringers have been around forever. And what he did was take a dangerous gun and just made it very cool by better materials, trigger guard, interchangeable barrels, solid stainless steel. And Wayne, like you saw at the show, people love picking them up and just holding them. And it's just like, they pick it up and it's like, wow, this is like a real gun.
That's great. I saw it. My wife and I were at the show, and she's a gun aficionado even more than I am. And she said it was the best booth at the entire gun show out of thousands of booths was Gordon's booth, Bond Arms. To celebrate America's 250th anniversary, Bond Arms is releasing the American 250 edition handgun at a special price only for my fans. Tell us about it.
So one thing that we wanted to do, when I graduated in 1976, it was the bicentennial, and that's all they talked about all year long. And so when this 250th anniversary was coming up, we really wanted to do something special on this. And what you're seeing on the screen right now is the stainless steel version. It's 45 long Colt and 410 shotgun shell, very well built. I mean, our guns are built like a tank. People love the quality. They call it a hand cannon, best snake gun you've ever had. Oh yeah, there's a beautiful side with the flag and the Liberty. And people just love the way that we do things. I mean, they'll come to our booth every year and just go, wow, what are y'all doing this year? You know, what crazy thing are you doing this year? So the American 250, we're really going to focus on that. We want to give everybody the opportunity to own a piece of history.
Gun. What a beautiful gun. What a gorgeous gun. The engravings. Wow. And I love that name, hand cannon. I want a hand cannon. Mine got delivered today. I'll have them for next week's show. My own personal hand cannon from Bond Arms. How do you get it? Go to getbondarms.com. See the number on the screen, getbondarms.com, or call 817-573-4445. See the disclaimer on the bottom of the screen for certain restrictions.
bondarms.com. Gordon, thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
RNC Chair Joe Gruters announces 130 lawsuits filed across 32 states to stop Democrats from stealing elections. He's the chairman of the Republican National Committee. He announced that Republicans have already launched 130 lawsuits across 32 states at blocking Democrats' efforts to cheat every single day in U.S. elections. That's his quote. The announcement comes as President Trump recently vowed to unleash a much larger election integrity army than the one Republicans used in 2024, signaling that the GOP is preparing for an all-out legal and ground game fight over ballot security, vote counting, and election procedures. Because, of course, you know the famous saying from Stalin, right? It's not who wins the election, it's who counts the votes that matters, right? And that's the Democrats' philosophy. They're just thieves. All right, Wayne Allyn Roots, Warzone Live. Welcome to the show. Welcome to my podcast, official podcast, The Gateway Pundit. There's some really bad stories in Britain. You know, we've got the young British gent who was in his 20s, who was attacked on the way home from a soccer game, and he wasn't beaten. He was stabbed to death. He wound up bleeding to death on the sidewalk, handcuffed by the British police who arrived and believed the lying story of the Sikh, I guess that's, you know, an Indian from India, a Sikh, who had a ceremonial sword and decided to stab this guy in the face and the hand and the leg and the lungs, from what I remember. And he was bleeding, and he kept saying, "I'm bleeding to death, I can't breathe." And the British police couldn't care less and said, "You're a racist, and you caused all this. You're the criminal. We're handcuffing you." And they didn't believe that he was bleeding to death, and he bled to death in front of them. And the person who did it, the Sikh, carried the ceremonial sword on the streets of Britain where no one's allowed to carry a knife. But I guess if you're a minority, you can do anything you want. He was sentenced to a long prison sentence yesterday. And Britain has gone wild over this whole thing. There are people protesting in the streets. You know, this is their version of, in America, you know, a black guy saying, "I can't breathe," and he dies. You know, George Floyd and several others in New York City had the same kind of experience. "I can't breathe." In Missouri, Ferguson, Missouri, the police didn't care. They couldn't breathe. And America fell into protests and then riots and then burning and looting. And but when it happens to a white man, very little looting or burning, interestingly enough. Now we find another story. White girls raped by dogs, whiskey bottles, and hundreds of men. Britain's migrant grooming gang scandal exposed. And what this is about is Britain leader Rupert Lowe used a Westminster Hall debate on Monday, 2 days ago, to confront Parliament with harrowing testimony from white girls and white women who were raped, tortured, trafficked, and degraded by migrant grooming gangs, all of them Muslim, by the way, and abandoned by the very authorities who should have protected them. 260,000 Brits signed a petition calling for Parliament to address the rape gang scandal. Lowe opened by thanking and welcoming survivors who were sitting in the hall, saying that the debate was not about politics, but about them. "I want the world to hear what we heard during 2 weeks of our independent rape inquiry hearings, an inquiry that should never have needed to happen." And then he read out a series of graphic testimonies that exposed the scale of abuse suffered by almost exclusively white girls. One survivor said she was only 12 when a man raped her before forcing an empty Jack Daniels bottle inside her and breaking the glass. Another described being held down by groups of men as they took turns to rape her before beating her and threatening to murder her and her loved ones if she ever spoke out. Lowe told members of parliament the evidence heard by his inquiry included repeated allegations that white British girls were deliberately targeted. One survivor said abusers made constant references to white girls and Christian girls, claiming they have lower values and fewer morals, while Muslim girls were described as having dignity and higher moral standing. Another alleged victim said race absolutely played a part in the selection of victims, adding the girls she encountered during her exploitation were almost exclusively white. So basically, Muslims were out there in England searching for white girls to rape and to groom as basically prostitutes and gang rape them. And nobody cared, and they protected them because the government was so scared of saying something negative to a minority, which Muslims are like. In America, we think of blacks as minority. In England, it's the Muslims that are the kind of the black minority. You know, they're just scared to death. Just like in America, so many are scared to death to ever say anything about black America, to ever tell the truth about what's going on. In England, you can't tell the truth about Muslim England. And so I hope everyone in America is awake and you understand what's coming our way and you understand what we're allowing to happen here. And we're just a little bit early. You know, in another few years, in another 5 years, another 10 years, we're going to be England, right? I mean, when you think of how far away 9/11 was 2001, now we're 2026. So it was 25 years ago. Meet the Democrat with Al-Qaeda ties who just won a congressional primary. I mean, the people Democrats are electing have Al-Qaeda ties. There's one in Maine who's got a Nazi tattoo. It's all stunning that this is going on in the United States of America, that we're allowing this to go on, that people are willing to vote for people like this. We got a real problem in our country, and we're heading for the same status as England and France and Netherlands and Germany and Italy. They're all going down the tubes. We don't want to go down with them. As I say goodnight, I want to mention Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. They sponsor the show. It took 40 years to piece together this 40,000-acre giant gas discovery in Wyoming. The first 4,000 feet drilled so far estimated to contain up to 6 trillion cubic feet of gas, making it one of the largest natural gas discoveries in the Rocky Mountain region in decades. With a management forecast projecting just the first 25 wells to produce 400 million cubic feet per day of natural gas, and by 2035 targeted production of over 1 billion cubic feet per day. This is all about the surge in data centers, AI data centers. This is how we power the AI future of America with inexpensive, clean natural gas. Heading up this whole thing, Mark Bruner, incredible background, incredible profits in his past public companies. To learn more about Lost Soldier Oil and Gas, go to lostsoldier.com. It's that simple. Lostsoldier.com. Fill out the form. They'll get right back to you. Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Hi, this is Wayne Allyn Root. If you're sick and tired of supporting woke companies, I have great news for you. You don't have to anymore. You can shop where my family shops at GreatPatriotStore.com. My team researched thousands of companies for my best-selling book, The Great Patriot Boycott Book, and one stood out above all, GreatPatriotStore.com. This is the answer to inflation. Hundreds of household products that you're already buying. Much higher quality, no toxic chemicals, delivered right to your door at incredible prices. 20,000 American families are joining every month, and you should too. And now they've got the beef, pasture-raised with no hormones, antibiotics, or mRNA ever, exclusively available only to their members. Like Costco or Sam's Club, you need to become a member. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com, fill out the form, and they'll contact you right away. And boom, you're a member. For a limited time, the annual membership is $1. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com. That's GreatPatriotStore.com.